You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports. Well, we're going to talk about the XFL, the attendance, and I've got one rating, which is last Thursday night, and wow, the XFL is in a bit of a situation. I've talked about how much I'd love to see these spring leagues actually make it, but things are starting to get ugly for the XFL. All right, when you are no longer drawing in San Antonio, your league is in some trouble. When you're no longer getting any ratings on ESPN, the mothership, right, your league is in trouble. Now, I do think there are a couple of small reasons that could lend itself to this, but overall, it's just not a good sign. I guarantee you the XFL was strolling into this weekend believing they were probably about to set a potential attendance record or even beat last week, right, which was one of the biggest spring football weekends anybody's ever seen. But that was on the backs of St. Louis. Well, this weekend, the stars aligned. Oh, my God. We've got St. Louis and we've got San Antonio. San Antonio is playing at home, and we know from the AAF days and from week one of the XFL, they're going to draw 20,000. They may draw 25 or 28,000, except they didn't. And the attendance in San Antonio plummeted for whatever reason. San Antonio did not show up for the XFL this weekend, and that is a really bad sign. Combine that with what the television rating was last Thursday night for the XFL on an actual ESPN channel, the main ESPN channel, and there is probably some cause for concern if you're rooting for the XFL to be able to hang around. Somewhere the Rock's got to be thinking, wow, I didn't see this coming in San Antonio at all. XFL attendance report. The attendance, as you can imagine, continues to ride on the shoulders of St. Louis. By the way, there was talk that they were going to open up to 40 or even 50,000 fans. But the attendance in St. Louis dropped too. It did not go up. It dropped. And look, Mizzou was playing. Somebody said a couple of the other things. But you got to be able to get asses in the seats because you've chosen to play this time of the year. And I can tell you right now, and we'll look at this because we're going to look at the sports ratings. March Madness has utterly destroyed the XFL. And it's obvious, the casual sports fan, when they've got the XFL in front of them versus anything having to do with March Madness, they're tuning in for college basketball. And that has hurt the XFL badly. Let's face it, the XFL fans reside in St. Louis. That area is so pumped to have football back in St. Louis. They are supporting it like an NFL team. They have bought into the Battlehawks and have broken XFL attendance records 2 weeks in a row. This week, the XFL had a total of 64,381 fans in attendance. Overall, that's still pretty good. It's still up, comparable to 2 weeks ago. But 35,000 of those fans, well over half, were just in St. Louis. This is the one that has got to be puzzling to everybody. All right? It is San Antonio. What happened? The XFL wanted as many primetime games as they could get, but they forgot kids have school the next day. That cannot be an excuse. That cannot be. Now, I don't understand why a San Antonio game had an 8 p.m. Central start time. I don't know why that was. I don't know if that had to do with getting it on television or what. But that's an hour too late. And I'm scared to even see the ratings when it comes out, much less what happened to the attendance. Last night's game between the Renegades and the Brahmas kicked off late and did not have a big attendance. According to Mike Mitchell, the XFL had 13,274 in Week 5, which is a major drop from Week 1, in which 24,000 plus packed the Alamo Dome. Wow, you just lost 10,500 fans from the last time you played there. The XFL has been great, but the times of their games have not been the best timed. That is a fact. Their times are strange. I don't get it. It's got to have something to do with other things that are built around on television. They're getting TV ratings as well, though. Are they? I don't know about that. And let's look at the rest of the draws. Guardians versus Vipers. That was back in Vegas. Pathetic. 6,008 people showed up. Seattle and Houston. 9,231 fans. XFL attendance week 5, 64,381 total fans. That is 10,000 less than last week, 74,947. And the biggest issue with that is, I guarantee you, The Rock thought they had a chance to beat last week's attendance because of that San Antonio home game. Think about that. They probably came into the weekend believing they were going to beat last week's rating or last week's attendance, and they fell over 10,000 short. That cannot be a good sign. They were absolutely counting on Orlando, San Antonio, St. Louis, and Seattle. And for whatever reason, Seattle has not shown back up to the XFL. San Antonio showed up big the first week. And for their second home game, they didn't show up. Let's get to the ratings, because when I saw this rating, I was like, ooh, the XFL may be in some real trouble. This is last Thursday night's rating. It was the 48th TV product on the top 50 on cable ratings. It was on actual ESPN. Had a 10:32 p.m. start time, 9:32 Central. 256,000 total viewers. 256,000 total viewers. And let's just take a look. It's clear March Madness is the top 21 out of 20, top 20 out of 22 things on television was March Madness in total viewers. And it's clear, I mean, look at all, this is just Thursday night last week. The XFL never had a chance. Never. There's no way. Just look at this 6 p.m.-ish start time. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there were 3 March Madness games around 6:30. Around the time the XFL started, 9/11. That was 1.9 million viewers. 9:33 p.m. 2.494. In other words, 2.5 million viewers. Well, there's 4 million viewers over right there. 10:09 p.m. Another 1.845 million viewers. There's 9:50, 1.372 million. 9:43, another million. I mean, that's 7 million sports fans that the XFL had. Oh, well, here's another game down here. Another 703,000. So, boy, it's pretty clear. Between the attendance and March Madness hitting the XFL last week, the March Madness could not end quick enough, it looks like, for the XFL. And I don't know what their deal is in San Antonio all of a sudden. I don't. Some are guessing that the game should have started at 7 instead of 8, and that cut into attendance. Of course, a lot of people are sitting at home and watching March Madness. It's a big deal. It's a top 5 or 6 sporting event of all the year and it encompasses 3 weekends. So the XFL has got to hold on to dear life during March Madness. I don't know how they do that. If the league gets a second year, how do you navigate March Madness? Because it's clear, last Thursday night, it destroyed your game. March Madness absolutely engulfed your XFL game, and it never had a chance. I mean, I would have thought that would have been sort of an FX kind of rating. No, that was on actual ESPN, and it was horrible. A horrible rating because the casual sports fan that might have been watching your league has completely tuned out. We just looked at it. 7 million sports fans around that 9:30 start time of last Thursday night all went to college basketball. You can't tell me there wasn't 250 to 500,000 sports fans that probably would have given the XFL an eyeball. But, I mean, 20 out of 22 of the top-rated programs on cable television was March Madness, sporting events. I don't know what The Rock can do about that. And it's something, maybe the USFL, maybe that's the reason they've decided to start later, you know, and let the XFL go first, because they know March Madness sucks all the air out of the room. Think about it. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. It's been a rough 5 days for the XFL all of a sudden. Peace. I'm out.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.